one and all. All right, I'm back for tonight's very first Raven read, and I tell you what, Spirit was letting me know that Spirit's hands were itching to get me back at the wheel. I was cleansing the old people card, the old people rose gold cards, and I forgot that this was in here. Let's share the world of tarot. But then on the split, as I was, doing the very first split, I got the Empress on one side and the wheel on the other. So Spirit is definitely letting me know that it is time to get back at the wheel for myself. The wheel needs to be at the wheel. The Raven needs to be at the wheel, my mom is saying. So I have done a few things. We've added some more cards, and I'll tell you what, I bet every tarot reader out there is probably same as me. We spend way too much money on tarot reading because it's something that we're just so called and so drawn to do. For me, I'm all about the metaphysics of things, and so I recognize the neurodivergent complexity of who tarot readers are. But before Stace even left, I got a download from my mom, and so I was talking to Stace, and I said, it's really interesting, babe. What I hear my mom saying is that something along the lines of, when Stace sits next to me, when my boo-boo Fudu, I'm his boo-boo Fudu, when my doo-doo Fudu sits next to me, it's pretty obvious that we're such different personalities, but then again, we're also so the same. So I get the sweetest fucking downloads about him all the time, and things that my mom reassures me that he's never done for past relationships. And I think anybody out there that has probably been with him could probably confirm whether they care to or not. And it makes me wonder if he gets the same for me. Just because I know there are things about him that seem so opposite, but they make sense to us as the twin flames, the twin flame journey that we're on. It's one of the coolest things that when you awaken and you go on a twin flame journey, that childlike energy that just whoosh at you. And I have the feeling that Stace has been childlike energy for a very long time, but he's had that childlike energy without that ability to be soft for others. And yeah, that's what my mom said. That's exactly what it is there's this misconception or this notion out there for those who are like, no, we're not doing awakening, we don't do woke, we don't do this, we don't do that, that the men out there in our collectives are being asked to somehow stop being manly or stop feeling like they're men, and that's not it at all. You're literally being returned to childlike energies, to where you are creative, you are exploratory, things that you've loved to do your whole life, you now just start doing them all of a sudden, because you're talking to divinity and you're talking to the divine, and the universe is listening to you direct say, well, this is what I love, this is who I am. And so Stace and I, when we get together, that's the wonderful, wonderful part about the twin flame journey. There is still that working piece, but I just want to say to those out there that are in our collective, and as you start your awakening process, we can see there's people on our downlines that are in process of that. As you start that, it's really nothing to be afraid of. We ended the millennial readings with somebody that is feeling very, very lost as their star is coming online. It does feel a little bit lonely because it takes you a minute to find your other half again, if that's what you want to do, but that space between or in between there can really be very, very, very helpful for getting out all the old matrixy things. The biggest thing that you're gonna, that I think anybody that does tarot, anybody that's awake, anybody that's, loving metaphysics, loving all these pieces will tell you sucks is that you still have matrix like bills that you have to address and pay. And my mom says, just remind everybody that pinnacle energy is still energy. It's still energy. It's still exchanging. It's changing. We know it's changing. It's rapidly changing what that looks like. That's because the old systems are, going away. But as they're still online and on board, and we all still have bills, and, those of us that live in countries that, would rather have us take out bazillions of dollars in student loans versus just educating their people, we still have those things. So anyway, I got on this rant and roll just because I got that just incredibly sweet download before Stace left, and spirit light is going off again. That was the other thing that was happening to me is I was sitting in my bedroom and that light never flickers at all, but it started flickering. Are you going to read? Are you going to read? Are you going to read? So I see spirit wants me to get on with it. My mom says, no, actually, we're just confirming that something here is correlated. Okay. All right. I have no idea who I'm reading for, but I feel like I keep saying I want to read for our collective. And that's what I want to do. All right. So we've got the death card in reverse. Typically the death card in reverse means that we may not be paying attention to habits. And or there's an awakening occurring. So, awakening or an awareness, an awareness. My mom says, no, an awareness that of something that needs to be put, probably flipped. And she said, this is why that little girl told you not to use the old people cards. Okay. She said these are harder for them to rock and roll into too. Okay. Somebody that's celebrating too much. Somebody that's celebrating too much that needs to flip this death card is what my mom is saying. So I'll go ahead and I'll get some clarifiers. Just starting with these two. We have somebody that should be putting something down but is not. And they are celebrating too much is what I hear my mom saying. I feel like I want to know who is it? And she's trying to throw the book at you, whoever you are. All right, we've got somebody that's very pride. She's saying, pay attention to the word pride, because we've got a 9 of Cups in the upright. She said it's somebody that's actually very prideful. And then we've got a Knight of Cups in reverse. So we've got the heartbreaker, dream maker. Buddy, you shouldn't be messing around with spirit because they will let us know. Somebody that's having moodiness, unrequited love, and is a troublemaker. Okay? So, somebody that's celebrating just a little bit too much. A little too much in those 9 of Cups. Okay? And they're saying whoever this is very prideful, doesn't want to hear how they should be putting certain things down. Not a book. Anything else? Anything else, but not a book. There we go. All right. Whoever this is has put a Queen of Pentacles in reverse with their behavior. Anything else from this? No. Pole kipperish. Okay. So, and what my mom is saying is that the reason I went on that little tangent before is because we have somebody here who refuses to see, who has it in their mind that holding and staying in these kind of patterns, yep, I just got the light again, holding and staying in these type of patterns is exactly why spirit wakes and shakes us. Oftentimes it's people that are in these patterns who just have this unawareness of who they are, that when they wake up, they become some of the strongest spiritual, in spiritual terms, whether it be that they're in churches or wherever they go for, to have their spiritual needs met. But right now, what we've got is somebody who, we have a Knight of Cups who is completely in the reverse and not paying attention to, my mom is saying literally just tell them, you in your cups too much. You in your cups too much is what she's saying. Who is very prideful, does not want to hear what other people are telling him. She's saying him, are telling him he needs to hear. Okay. All right. So I am going to go with the Kipperish next. I just don't feel like I can do any read, whether it be collective or otherwise, without somehow pulling this Kipperish. This Kipperish just really, really speaks to me, because I feel like it gives us, some illumination into, well, who the heck are we talking to here? And what else do they need to know? The light's still going. Oh man, the light is letting me have it. Anything on this side? Nothing on this side. Must be on this side. Yep, it is. It's right there. We have somebody who's in their cups too much. They're causing a lot of mental anguish. They are not stable, not stabilized at all. Okay, and they have put a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. They have put a Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and they're manipulative. This is a manipulative, mentally unstable person that is in the cups too much, my mom keeps saying. Which one? Because they're trying to throw a book at me. Just this one. You aren't listening to these people. You are not listening to your family who are trying to help you, my mom says. Okay, any of these? None of these, because none of those are applicable to you. This person doesn't have a karmic femme. This person doesn't have any of that at the moment. They just wanted you to see that you are not listening to your family who are telling you that you're in your cups too much, my mom says. Okay. Anything else on this side? My mom is now saying the fact, she finds it funny that I keep saying that don't give me the book, don't give me the book, don't give me the book. She says something along the lines of, where do you think would be the most appropriate place to throw the book at somebody? I don't know. So I've got these new cards that are all about our shadow work, and I'm also going to go ahead and throw the sacred woundings, because that would make sense, I would believe, for a person that does not want to hear from their family, that doesn't want to hear their family tell them that they are in their cups too much. Their family, my mom says, their family that loves them and is trying to tell them there's a problem here that needs to be addressed. So my mom says this could be male and female, that there are several that are going to run into this eventually, and they're going to know who they are as they start awakening, and know that when you start your awakening process, it looks so different for everybody, but there are some similarities across the line. People who are in addiction have usually some additional stuff that they have to do, is what she's saying on the other side. All right, guilt. There's some shadow work around guilt. What I was just saying, you're going to end up feeling guilty. Release the chains of past mistakes and embrace the growth that they bring. And so she's saying, as whoever this is awakens, they're going to be holding on to a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, things like that. And they're going to have to learn to release that. Eventually, she's telling me 12 steps. 12 steps. This whole reading reminds me of this really, really, really cool reading that I got before I ever ventured into tarot. When I first started talking to Stace, there's a man in Scotland who reads, and he reads runes, and he reads it all. Just an amazing, amazing reader. His name's Gareth, and he pulled a Taurus read for Stace, and he was utterly confused by Stace's reading. When Stace and I got together, he was just at the start of the process of re-looking at, what's there out there in AA, because he was still, he had gotten himself down to like about a beer a day, but he understood as an alcoholic he had to shut things down completely. And when he and I first got together, Gareth, yeah, they want you to hear the story. Gareth comes online and he says, I'm not quite sure how this Taurus is doing this, but this Taurus, whoever they are, have literally somehow or other caused the universe like this 1 degree turn in which they now realize and recognize for themselves that they are never going to pick up. He said it's either alcohol. He goes, I feel it strongly, it's alcohol. And so I remember thinking, how fucking cool, right? I wonder if Stace realizes he's done that for himself. Well, as it turns out, he does realize that he's done that for himself. And even with our twin flame journey, I'm being asked to share with you guys, with our twin flame journey, part of what we do is that mirrored thing. And so when we have that mirrored thing, and things just feel so fucking hard, Stace can no longer bring himself to even slightly think of alcohol. And that's something that's so different for him. And I'm just always, when I see those things for him, I always think back to that reading. And what my mom is saying is that there are a few people out there that someday are going to come back and think back to this reading and say, but the tarot raven told me when I get to that point that I start understanding the damage, the things that I did to my family, even though my family has forgiven me, even though things are much better for me, I'm ordered to let go of the guilt at that point. That's a shadow work card. So, alcoholism, drug addiction, things like that, we understand those are diseases and those are lifelong things for people. So this person's going to know what's true for them and what their journey looks like. So I just want to acknowledge that, and my mom wanted me to tell you that you too, whoever this is for, and whoever the family member is, and the Queen of Cups, that have been trying and trying and trying to reach this person. That forgiveness piece puts you in such divinity. But what my mom is saying is that it's going to be your job, once all that healing starts happening, to reassure this person that this is something that they must let go of for past woundings, because you've already done the forgiveness, so that they may really and truly see themselves as who they are and forgive themselves. Okay? All right, the other thing that they have here, ancestral wounding. Okay? That's generational. My mother is saying generational. Understand that and I'm really shocked that I'm not hearing Stace's people come down the line on this, but it's my mom. It's my mom that is saying that our people need to understand that people were pushed into those wounds. We're pushed into those wounds, taken out of this and pushed into those wounds. And it's ancestral on my side, my father's side. struggles similarly with alcoholism, and you have to realize when people get removed from their lands, their homes, they get reduced to nothing by that, people that would rather just be rich than help the rest of humanity, as we're all supposed to be doing while we're down here. People generationally get pushed into this, okay? So the family, it's going to be important that the family help this person understand why this is so important. Now I'm understanding why I was just yik-yakking. There's always a lesson, a valued lesson here. So needing to heal an ancestral wound will show up as feelings of inadequacy, fear of failure, or a constant need for validation and approval. It may manifest as struggles with self-confidence, difficulty with authority figures, or a deep inner conflict about your worth and ability to succeed. This can leave you measuring your value through others instead of trusting yourself, okay? That's one of the ways that people get into and back into addictions, is it gets passed along the lines instead of cut off. And that's how you know that people are doing the works, is when you have somebody that can sit in front of one of these and say, hi, my name is Melissa, and I used to have a love addiction, and I own that. And I don't really care anymore if people judge me or don't judge me, right? Hi, my name is Stace, and through my line was passed this thing. And we know that the further we can go back age-wise and shut that down, generationally speaking, the stronger the youngers become, okay? So, Spirit, my mom in particular, knows that whoever this is out there that's been put in reverse as a family member, and she's saying a mom, and obviously a mom, they're working on the back end on this person, on trying to bring this person online. And what's going to be so important for you is to understand that to keep him or her or they or them from going back into these spaces, here's the shadow work, and here's that sacred wounding, okay? The shadow work that person is going to be looking at, especially as they're in recovery. Oh my God, things just hit you all of a sudden. Oh my God, all the damage I did, all this, that, and the other. It's very important for those out there to hear this message, the family, because it's going to be your job to reassure that person that I love you, I forgive you. You can even take from what I say to my kids, my two youngest kids in particular, whenever and I still say it to them, because occasionally my youngest in particular will just have a really, really, really rough day. And every now and again I find myself, it's less and less and less as he's really come into his own. But forever, it felt like every single day, for a very long time, I would have to say to him, and what is tomorrow, baby? And he just would know, it's a new day. It's a new day. That's right. A new day means a new chance, another chance. And then the very next day, we might have found ourselves saying, but what is tomorrow, baby? It's a new day. And we have people out there who are never meant to awaken, right? Who simply won't give that reassurance and that confirmation to, their children. And I will tell you that for me, with my youngest son, he now looks back and sees some of the really hard behaviors that he was doing particularly when he was getting his hormones in online. And just every once in a while, I think we've got it down to maybe once a year, where he'll say, gosh, Mom, I can't believe I used to behave that way. And I, as mom, have to say to him, hey, we took tomorrow as a what? A new day? Yes, it was a new day every single day. And guess what? Because we treated it that way, look at who you are now. And this kid's about to go to college. He's in the National Honor Society. He works full time. He just an amazing kids. Amazing, I say kids, all my kids are amazing, but this kid was like the number one turnaround. And it just literally took me as mom and his dad constantly reminding him, but what is tomorrow? So I want you, and what Spirit wants you guys to do is to learn to say that. They said, yes, steal it. My mom is saying, yes, steal it. Keep reminding keep reminding the person that is doing this, okay, as they're coming up out of it, so that they can heal this and understand that you understand there's ancestral things that got passed down, that just kept going and going from our older generations, that we're all working on cutting off and shutting down together. So I tell my kid, there's no need, you know, and it's funny, the once a year when he talks to me, he'll say, I feel so bad that I behaved like that, and I was cursing at people all the time, and getting physical, and I don't even know what was wrong with me. And we would just tell him, but that's the past. And we kept treating tomorrow as another new day. And look at where you are now. And so we are able to very effectively now shut that down, but it took us a minute. And so that is what my mom is wanting me to share with these people. They're working. Spirit is working. The universe is trying to work with this person, but they're going to need you. They're going to figure out that they need you. So there's that. I feel like that is the overall message for this collective. Now I'm going to tell you that I added some fun little things here. I added a new set of die that Stace ordered, and I hope he's excited when he sees this. We thought that these look like, he's such a guy. He's like, well, it looks like D&D. These look like D&D dice. They're black and red, and we love it. So we're going to get some numbers here for you. All right. This could be a 33-year-old, a 31-year-old, a 34-year-old. We've got the number, it could also be somebody in their 60s just coming online, a 63-year-old, a 61-year-old, a 64-year-old. And I am being told that the number 14 might mean something to somebody out there. Maybe they've been in addiction. My mom is saying it could be that somebody that's been in addiction since the age of 14, somebody that's been in addiction for 14 years. They'll know, she's saying they'll know why this is applicable to this person. And then we've brought back out these die that have, just kind of the different number sets. So again, could be a 43-year-old that we're talking to, that's confirmation, or a 41-year-old, confirmation. This is a confirmation die telling me. Again, they could have been in addiction since age 13 or 14, or it could be 13, 14 years, and they are trying. Spirit's working with them, they're trying. They are telling you to take a nap, okay? I think they're also telling this person to take a nap while they work on getting things out of their system. And then also, head home. Go home. Be with your family. Love one another. Love those who are with you. Cherish those who are with you, okay? I've added several somethings here that I feel comfortable and confident with working with oracles. And so the first one I'm going to grab for folk out there is your spirit animal, okay? And I've cleansed these. They're just all still kind of stuck together. So give me just a second here. Show me their spirit animal. I think that this is going to be spirit animal for, here it is. The unyielding will, the peacock, okay? My will is as firm as a rock, unshaken by adversity. And I hear my mom saying, Queen of Pentacles, do you know how strong you are and how strong you're going to have to be as this other starts? They're working on the other. Spirit is working on the other as best they can. It's going to be you. that is unshaken. You are going to be the one to, my mom is saying once more to tell this Queen of Pentacles, it's going to be you that helps this other understand that the wounding is ancestral, okay? And generational. She's saying generational, from past, from one to one to one to one, which is why we operate in forgiveness, kindness, and compassion, versus, letting somebody feel like, oh yeah, you should feel guilty. No, it's going to be the Queen of Pentacles, who right now is not talking to the other, but eventually you will be. And what my mom is saying is it's going to be not your fault, pardon me. It's going to be your job. She's saying tell you it is not your fault. I'm sorry. She had like two things going on in my ear. It's going to be your job to understand, first of all, you are not at fault, nor are they. Nor are they. Sorry about that. I'm like, well, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's a generational wounding that comes directly from things that have been taken, stolen, patriarchies, things like that. If I were pulling the Illuminati cards for this reading, I can imagine something about patriarchy would come up. We know it, we see it, okay? So it's ancestral wounding down the line, okay? And it's going to be your job, it's going to be your job, Mom, to, when those feelings of guilt and shame come over, she's saying either of you, you must remember that tomorrow is a new day and nobody is at fault here. This is a disease. This is like, and she said, look at it this way. These are man-made diseases that have been thrust upon vulnerable communities throughout time, throughout the ages. These things just keep going down the line, and we've got families that are trying to work on them, shake them, awake them. Yes, my light is going off again. So they really want you to know that you are loved. Your loved one that's fighting right now to reverse, that needs to reverse the Devil card, they're going to need you. And they're going to figure that out, and they will likely approach you, okay? I've never been through a 12-step program, but I do know that that's usually part of it, is making the amends piece with others and apologizing at some point, and then understanding that people get to choose to forgive you or not. What I hear my mom saying is the choice of forgiveness is also a choice of divinity. It only increases everyone's divinity all the way around. Okay, let me get some Trinity charms, and then the other thing I've added back, these readings are going to go long, I can tell. Well, I'm thinking, they've got a lot of serious stuff. That's why I get pulled to the table to be serious for you. All right. Ooh, we have a lot of letters. We have S, T, F, and R. We also have X. That tells me our generation. So these might be people that have those letters, initials in their names, part of their names, that sort of thing. And I just pulled the Lovers. And the Lovers is in the upright. So I see this as something that's hopeful. I strongly feel like this message was for a mom. And so I want to get a little bit more on this. My mom is saying it's applicable to people that are in the Lover's motion too, that basically, yeah, lovers out there also can be a part of this, and understand that you play a pivotal role in that too, particularly, she says, with these two cards. For that person as they're awakening, okay? For that person as they're awakening, they're going to feel guilt, they're going to feel shame, they're going to feel upset. They need to hear from you, baby, I understand that this is something that's come down the line, okay? I understand, I see this as a disease. I know you're fighting. I know you're doing your best. My mom is also saying anyone can do a 1% turnaround and force it and then just decide, I'm done. You know, this is done. They need to see that you forgive them, you trust them, you love them until they give you a reason not to, is what she's saying. She said many that are awakening are finding that they're going to be doing that 1% turnaround. Okay? And they're just going to be like, that trashed my body. So hell no. That trashed my younger life. It trashed, and they'll be able to think on all these crazy things that have been them as the wounded person, the wounded addicted person, she's saying, causing more wounds and more addiction, and generationally. So, and everyone that's awakening in this need that support, okay? Even if you're in the upside down right now, we can pull ourselves in the right side. It's going to be the other side that actually pulls you back into and says, I'm sorry. I really am. I don't know. You know, my mom is saying, see this as it is, okay? All right, there's that. Now I'm going to throw an angel card for you, okay? For whoever, is this for Mom? She said, just pull the card and read it. It'll make sense, okay? It'll make sense to whoever this is supposed to go to, she's saying. All right, 1616, but it came out this way, okay? Because that's, of course, how y'all are feeling out there. We've got a couple of upside down characters, but 1616. Readjustments. Overcoming obstacles. Soulmates, romance, affection, support, and comfort. So that last card that I pulled, that little lovers card, your level of self-control is sufficient to make things right, okay? On the horizon is the possibility of beginning a new romantic or platonic friendship, as well as a chance to begin life anew with a person from one's past. Everything will fall to pieces. I think that this should be fall into place, but it says everything will fall to pieces. Okay. So that's probably the wake up, shake up for whoever is the lover on the other side, okay? So for the moms out there, just know they're coming. And then for the lovers who are supporting out there, just know their Spirit is working with them. Spirit is working with them. That's your answer. And yeah. But I'm being told to tell moms again, because the moms are the ones that are most heavily impacted and put in the reverse. My mom is saying the lovers didn't come until the end, and the reference to the lovers didn't come to the end because it's a no-brainer that the lovers leave first and fastest when there's addictions. It's the moms that hold on the hardest, she's saying. The moms hold on the hardest because these are their children that come from their bodies, and they are so interconnected to these kids. So, okay, that I was wondering about that. All right, and then the other thing I've added is it's called Moonlit Legends. It's a beautiful deck. Just want to give somebody a hint as to maybe whose birth month we're looking at, or whose moon we're looking at here. The fog moon. This actually makes sense for this read, the fog moon. The fog moon calls for deep introspection, helping you find clarity in confusion and revealing hidden truths as you navigate the unknown. Clarity, introspection, and mystery, okay? So the fog moon to me makes sense because somebody that's trying to be worked on to come up out of addictions, out of alcoholism, things like that, we know that they're in the fog, right? But it seems like somebody is trying to turn this around. Yes, and my mom is reassuring, it's the moms that hold on the hardest. Sometimes the lovers do too, she says, but honestly, it really is the moms that hold on the hardest. So, All right, I think that is all I wanted to add for this one. Hopefully that's given those of you out there some hope that things are getting turned around. They're being worked on. Spirit's helping the others out there that are really trying to go for something new. They're trying to make that 1% turn, and I've seen what that looks like. Other readers have seen what that looks like, and it always amazes them when people that are awakening and coming online just all of a sudden realize, I'm never touching that again. Okay? All right, this is a long message. All right, much love to everybody.